So if we take a step back to revenues, our revenue is tied to the expenses from the labor that we have on our expense lines from our administrative labor to perform the services that we service to our clients. Welcome to another episode with us here at Osage Financial. If you're a student, we hope you find the information in this episode valuable to you. If you're a company looking for accountants, click the link below and we'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. Today's episode, we'll be discussing how to read the P&L. Very beneficial for people studying accounting, of small companies trying to understand the financial flows of their business. The P&L is a very important financial statement that shows the health of the business and the operations of a business day to day. With the P&L, we'll be discussing revenues, returns and allowances, cost of goods sold, expenses, other income, other expenses, and net income. The example that we will use today is an example of an accounting firm. We thought that would be very fitting. Revenues, in our belief, and as with best practices, must be classified in a lot of different ways from the key income where the revenue is coming from. We've seen businesses classify revenue as just one income line and all the revenue flowing into that income line. This doesn't really allow a business to see exactly which revenue drivers are more profitable, which revenue drivers have the most opportunity, and which revenue drivers should maybe be let go of. With us, we classify revenue in four very important categories, and then with those four categories, we create subcategories. Our key revenue driver is the accounting outsourcing. We work as accountants for other companies. That's our key revenue drivers. With the accounting outsourcing, we have three different levels where we have three different tiers of pricing depending on company size. We also have business advisory, where we help businesses create an LLC, operate as a sole proprietor. We give business advice on how to operate in any given industry within our purview. We also have tax preparation. With tax preparation, we have different revenues below that, from individual returns, head of household returns, family returns, which is married filing jointly, returns from S corps, and nonprofits. And lastly, we just have a general consulting revenue line where we just take calls, advise people on different questions that they may have in anything related to business. So those are our revenue drivers. When we invoice our customers, our revenue goes into any one of those categories depending on what the revenue type is. Below that, we have our returns and allowances. If we give a discount to a customer, for example, when we file LLCs, we charge a specific amount. If the business is a startup, we may give a discount to that customer, and that would flow into our returns and allowances as a discount. After revenue, returns and allowances, you have your net revenue. That is revenue net of discounts. Below that, we have our cost of goods sold. Because we're an accounting firm, our cost of goods sold are very limited. Other companies like a plumbing company, an HVAC company, a trucking company, and manufacturing company, those different types of businesses may have a significant amount of cost of goods sold in labor, equipment, materials, supplies, financing fees. There could be a wide range of cost of goods sold. For our company, we do not have a significant amount of cost of goods sold. We just have, let's see, looking at our P&L here. We just have two lines of cost of goods sold. Below our cost of goods sold will be our expenses. Our expenses is where we recognize our administrative labor, which is the labor that we internally have for the accountants to operate as the outsourced accountants, where the clients are letting us perform as their accountants. We have the labor for working on creating the LOCs. We have the labor on the advisory. We have the labor on the consulting. So if we take a step back to revenues, our revenue is tied to the expenses from the labor that we have on our expense lines from our administrative labor to perform the services that we service to our clients. As well, in our expenses, we have all the selling and general administrative expenses that we incur as part of the business. We have rent expenses, we have internet expenses, we have supply expenses. Supply is for the office, meaning the materials that we use, the paper for the printer, the water for the kitchen, different things. So if we take a step back again, we'll take a look at revenue. So 4 key revenue drivers that have subcategories of revenue. We have returns and allowances. So if we give a discount, a return, and an allowance that happens, those will fall into that category. Net revenue, which is revenue net of discounts. We have 2 lines of cost of goods sold, so not many. However, like I mentioned, a lot of businesses would have significant cost of goods sold depending on the business type. And then we have expenses. The key expenses that we have would be our wages for the accountants that we have in-house, to who are the key drivers of the revenue that we have. And then we have other expenses, which would be our expenses for internet, supplies, the food for the kitchen, etc. Below our expenses, we have our other income. We categorize other income as income that comes from other revenue types that are not our key revenue types, and that is not reoccurring revenue to the business. We could have income from letting go of a piece of computer that we didn't need anymore. We could have income from other types that are not essentially our key income lines, our key income drivers. And then we'll also may have other expenses, which would be expenses that are not part of our regular operating day-to-day expenses. Below that, we have our net income. Net income would be our revenue, returns and allowances, net revenue, less cost of goods sold, less expenses, less other income, or plus other income, less other expenses, and then our net income at the bottom. So this is essentially a general P&L that we have as an accounting firm. If you're a student, we hope you found this information valuable to you. If you're a company looking for accountants, click the link below and we'll be in touch with you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching another episode with us here at Osage Financial.